Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद की जय, नामाचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर जी की जय. Hare Krishna everyone, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj. This is Premanandini Devidasi from Ashburn, Virginia. Thank you so much for joining the morning japa session and for chanting so energetically. It was totally uplifting. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to read a quote by Srila Prabhupada. Krishna's mercy is always there. It is your misuse of free will. You are given the opportunity, that is fortune, but you do not accept the fortune, that is your misfortune. This was spoken in Perth on May 10th, 1975. Our Bhagavatam speaker will be joining us shortly. Meanwhile, may I know who all have joined the call today?
Hare Krishna Mataji and Hare Krishna to all the devotees. This is Surinder Bhandari from Maryland. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Surinder Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for your association, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Hare Krishna to all the devotees on this call. This is Geeta from Maryland. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Geeta Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Thank you so much for your wonderful association and chanting, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Amritamani Devidasi from Augusta, Georgia. All glories to the devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Guranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Amritamani Mataji. Thank you so much for joining the call today. Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila
Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
And thank you so much for your wonderful chanting and association.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Manju Sharma from Gokul Beach, and Hare Krishna to all the devotees on this call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Manju Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining the Japa session and your association this morning.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Vandanam Pranam to you and all the devotees on the call. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Rupini Padma Devidasi from Orlando, Florida.
Hare Krishna, Rupini Padma Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for your association, Mataji, and for the wonderful chanting this morning.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. This is Nikunja Rasadas from Germantown, Maryland.
Hare Krishna, Nikunja Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for your association and wonderful chanting this morning. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Premanandini Mataji, and Hare Krishna to all devotees on the call. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Guru and Gauranga. This is Padmini Radha Devi Dasi and Adi Govinda Das joining from Gaithersburg, Maryland.
Hare Krishna, Padmini Radha Mataji and Adi Govind Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining the Japa session and chanting wonderfully, Mataji, and Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Premanandini Mataji and all the assembled devotees. Dandavat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shamarasika Devidasi from Germantown, Maryland.
Hare Krishna, Shamrasika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for your wonderful chanting earlier, Mataji.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Hare Krishna to all devotees. This is Malini from Ashburn, Virginia. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Malini Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much, Malini Mataji, for your regular association for our Japa session and for your wonderful chanting. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji.
Anyone else would like to announce their names, or we can go ahead and start the call as I see that Prabhuji has joined. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Today we are extremely fortunate to have His Grace Ram Giridhari Prabhuji joining us from Navi Mumbai. Prabhuji is going to enlighten us on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 12, verse number 5. Prabhuji, whenever you are ready, you may take over the call. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Prabhupada, and it's wonderful to be in the assembly of Vaishnavas, glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. So, we will discuss from the fifth shloka of 12th chapter in 8th canto, the Mohini Murti incarnation, revealed as Lord Shiva. Adya antavasya yanmadhyam idam anyat aham bahi yato vyavasasya naitani tat satyam brahmachit bhavan. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation: the manifest, the unmanifest, false ego, and the beginning, maintenance, and annihilation of this cosmic manifestation all come from you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because you are the Absolute Truth, the Supreme Absolute Spirit Soul, the Supreme Brahman, such changes as birth, death, and sustenance does not exist in you. Purport: according to the Vedic mantras, Yatova imani bhutani jayante, everything is an emanation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated by the Lord Himself in Bhagavad Gita 7.4, Bhumirapo nalo vayu kammano buddhirevacha ahankara itiyamme binna prakriti rastada. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Altogether, these 8 comprise my separated material energies. In other words, the ingredients of the cosmic manifestation also consist of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This does not mean, however, that because the ingredients come from Him, He is no longer complete. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishyate. Because He is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from Him, He remains the complete balance. Thus the Lord is called Avyaya, inexhaustible. Unless we accept the absolute truth as Achintya Beda, simultaneously one and different, we cannot have a clear conception of the absolute truth. The Lord is the root of everything. Ahamadir hi Devana. He is the original cause of all the Devas or demigods. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavaha. Everything emanates from Him. In all cases, nominative, objective, positive, negative, and so on, whatever we may conceive of in this entire cosmic manifestation is in fact the Supreme Lord. For Him, there are no such distinctions as this is mine and this belongs to someone else, because He is everything. He is therefore called Avyaya, changeless and inexhaustible. Because the Supreme Lord is Avyaya, He is the absolute truth, the fully spiritual Supreme Brahman. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakayam Chakshurun Militam Yenam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namaham Vishnu Padayam Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are discussing this verse spoken by Lord Shiva when he is witnessing the beauty of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is repeatedly seen in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and various other places. Whenever and wherever the Supreme Lord and his dear devotees and followers are there, one thing that has consistently been happening is glorification of the Supreme Lord. And one other consistent thing that we can see is in this material world, we will consistently see people do not acknowledge the Supreme Lord, neither pray to him, nor they have indebtedness for all that is provided. This is also we see consistently. So the performance of a devotee is consistent, and performance of a person who does not believe in the Supreme Lord, or does not understand the science of Krishna consciousness, also is seemingly consistent because of his very strong lifestyle, very strong understanding of that I am the enjoyer. So we are going to discuss this current context through some sets of reflections and try to learn some lessons. The very first reflection is what Srila Prabhupada has mentioned over in the purport. Aham sarvasya prabhavaha. Everything emanates from him. In all cases, nominative, objective, positive, negative, and so on, whatever we may conceive of in this entire cosmic manifestation is in fact the Supreme Lord. So this raises a fundamental question that can we point out something in this world, anything that we can point out and say this does not belong to God? We can't, because whatever object that you point out, the source is Krishna. As a practicing devotee, we have this clear understanding that he is the source of everything. One time, one scientist was very proud of his scientific abilities. He met the Lord and he challenged the Lord. The scientist said, "Hey God, we don't need you anymore. Because you are doing creation, people have been looking up to you. But now we have a technology that from one handful of dirt, we can create whatever we want. The Lord said, "Oh my God, that's a fantastic news. It's very good news. I'll be having more time with my beloveds. Since you have done this exercise, why don't you demonstrate it?" The scientist said, "Why not? Sure." So he bent down to pick up a handful of dirt to demonstrate what he could do with that. The Lord said, "Wait a minute, sir. That is my dirt. This all belongs to my creation. For you to create your invention, you have to bring in your dirt." So there was no answer. But everybody who denies the existence of God, they have no answer to some trivial questions. My father used to always say this. Whenever you say God is nowhere, you just need to adjust your understanding in that very statement. God is nowhere. God is there. Just that instead of nowhere, you bring the W closer to no and remove the remaining. The sentence will become, God is now here. This is what happened between Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad Maharaj. Hiranyakashipu saw everything as his resources, and Prahlad Maharaj saw everything as Lord's. So my first reflection is to analyze why do men don't believe in God. Even though after coming to Krishna consciousness, we see this as an obvious understanding. Today in the world, many places, the challenge is about acceptance of the Supreme Lord. In fact, there are a lot of debates which are going to establish God. Srila Prabhupada had two important projects that he has envisaged, which he entrusted His Holiness Bhakti Swarup Damodara Swami Maharaj, Dr. T.D. Singh. One is life comes from life. Second is God is a person. And during his service days, Maharaj has done very nice contribution towards both the projects. Maharaj is known amongst a lot of scientific members, fraternity scientists, and he has had several dialogues to demonstrate, to establish the concept of life comes from life. So when Prabhupada saw the way the generation is running after sense gratification, he was concerned And with that concern, he has asked for this project. 5 types of people does not surrender to God. Number 1, those who are atheist. Number 2, corrupt politician. Number 3, those who are scientists who happens to be believing in their invention and on scientific facts and does not have faith in Vedic literatures. Number 4 is those who are idiots, stupid fool, murka. And number 5 is those who are envious and want to control everything. And all of these 5 different classifications, they more or less have one common denominator. And what is the common denominator? That common denominator is the thought of I should be the enjoyer. What I say is what it is. So what happens is that with this propensity of I am the doer, I am the controller, I am the enjoyer, I am the beneficiary, that mentality restricts a person in seeing the truth as they are, even though the truth is right in front of his eyes. As Srila Prabhupada explains that all that is being manifested here, all that we are seeing over here in this material world, are Krishna's creations. They belong to Krishna. They are Krishna. If you have a slight intelligence, you will be able to understand this fact. It's not a very difficult fact. But even this basic understanding itself is not clear. So then look at the kind of Maya that we are all in, the people are in. So my first reflection is to discuss and recognize why people do not see, recognize the Supreme Lord. The reason I am discussing this aspect is, if in our family, in our neighborhood, in our relationship, colleagues in office, if we have such people, which unfortunately are many, then it is our responsibility to go and fix them, clean the society, and that will be considered as the greatest upakar, greatest contribution. What if our daughter-in-law, son-in-law, my son's friend, my boss, my colleague, my neighbor, they don't subscribe to spirituality? Then slowly, we will start living the life of a demon who thinks I am the boss. So I am going to analyze 4 reasons why somebody doesn't believe in God, understand God, and serve God. There may be 400 reasons, but let's limit with 4 for our discussions today, which will clearly tell how Krishna consciousness is superlative and important and helps us in our life. The very first reason why people don't surrender to God is because of the process of learning. Today in the society, the process of learning has predominantly become pratyaksha, by perception. What I see is what I believe. What is logically clear is what I believe. What I am able to comprehend is what it is truth. If I don't understand, if I don't follow, if I don't believe, in a sense, I'm not able to conceive, then all I will do is I will mock at them and make fun out of it. This is the current trend. The current youths, they do not want to identify themselves with religion. They do not want to identify themselves with spirituality. Or they land up in calling something nonsense, sense gratification, as spiritual. So, the reason of this is the methodology of learning. The Vedic methodology of learning, the way our predecessors have taught and imparted knowledge, is through a very bona fide process of oral reception, Shabda Pramana. The basis of learning had been, I used to learn from my seniors. I used to learn from elders. I used to learn from experienced. I used to learn from my well-wishers. Even if I have limited intelligence, because the process was wonderful, I used to put my faith, go through the process, and get transformed and eventually get enlightened. Now, the current generation is, I will challenge, I will try to logically convince myself, I will see if it is pleasing and satisfying according to my quotient, and what is therein for me. He asks all these questions, and only when he is satisfied, he considers them as something that he will subscribe to. Otherwise, he will mock at them and demean people who are following them. So, if people are stuck to Pratyaksha Pramana and Anumana Pramana and does not give weightage to Shabda Pramana, so then we have a bigger problem. So, one reason is because the way the knowledge is being imparted, whether it is in the education system or is in the conversational process or within the family, where we are not able to instill that Shraddha in the heart because of a fundamental weakness in the way we want to gain knowledge. Many devotees' children, they don't subscribe to Krishna consciousness because they want logically understand Krishna. Prabhupada says, God's existence can be proved when you are ready to go through the process by which you can understand God. It is like Srila Prabhupada used to give the example of electricity. For you to understand how electricity functions, how electricity is, there is a process by which something is demonstrated. People cannot see electricity, but electricity can be demonstrated by the outcome of electricity. Similarly, the God's existence can be presented by a process. That process is defined in Vedic scriptures. And Prabhupada says, you come to Krishna consciousness movement, we will teach you that process. So people do not. So that is why Prabhupada repeatedly says, Bhagavad Gita can be understood only when we are in the mood of Arjuna. What was the mood of Arjuna? Arjuna first doubted himself. What if my understanding is wrong? Then he decided that he wanted an help because he doesn't want to be in such a zone. And number 3, he was ready to surrender to Krishna. And number 4, he was not a blind follower. And number 5, he was not adamant in being attached to his way of doing things. He was always interested in righteousness. So, before even the actual Divya Jnana, the transcendental knowledge was imparted, Arjuna acquired the necessary qualities of surrender, Shraddha, and he also had very clear assessment about his state of mind. Today, the younger generation, the scientific community, and all the so-called successful people, they are thinking themselves that they are the controller, they are the masters. They fail to see this fact that I have my limitations and I have my shortcomings. So the reason number 1 is about the way, methodology. That is why it's a duty of all the Krishna consciousness practitioner to somehow or other to start imparting the Shabda Praman way of learning. Meaning we start try to teach the children, teach our near and dear ones that there is a way which is beyond perfection when we follow the words and implementations of our predecessor acharyas. There, everything is perfect because of its sanctity. So the idea is that if you do not learn through that process, we will question even Krishna's existence. This was the case even when Krishna was there. But unfortunately, now people, the quantity, the count of number of people who are opposing the Supreme Lord has increased multifold at times. Previously, there was one Kamsa, one Jarasandha, one Hiranyakashipu, one Hiranyaksha here and there. I mean, they were demons, but then they were also equally good souls. But Kali Yuga, the challenge is increasing day by day. So the first challenge, first reason why people do not come closer to Krishna is because of the way of acquiring knowledge. So ISKCON's duty, Krishna conscious devotee's duty, is to impart that process, impart that knowledge, and give them an experience so that we have a hope in reviving. Second reason why people do not come closer to Krishna is they don't know who they are. They don't know. If I had not come to ISKCON or not come to Srila Prabhupada's Bhaktivedanta purports, I would be thinking I am in this body. And unfortunately, so-called celebrities, for the sake of their own personal agenda, they propagate wrong ideologies. That's the recent, Gen Z word that I have learned. It's called YOLO. YOLO. I'm not sure how many of you know what YOLO is. YOLO means you only live once. One more word that I've learned is called Delulu is the Solulu. I'm not sure if those all words exist in USA, but these are all some learning to understand the current youth. What is Delulu is the Solulu? It says delusion is the solution. Why? Because reality is commitment, responsibility, and confusing, for which you have to go through a process. So there are restrictions, there are regulations, and there is doubt, there is fear. So best is, if I want to enjoy, let me remain in delusion. Let me remain intoxicated. So at least I will get a feeling that everything is okay. I'll get a feeling that everything is, exciting. If you remove this propensity of, proper learning and just make everything as enjoying, simply for materialistic enjoyment, the whole life is, dedicated, then there is no end to this Vitandavad, dry argument. So hence, the root cause of all these things is that we don't know who we are. Meaning, many people who are not subscribing, one of the reasons why they are not subscribing to spirituality is because they don't know who they are. They don't know they are the spirit soul. They think I am this body, and they think I'm going to live only once, and they do not have concept of reincarnation. So all everything wrong learning. So from that perspective, the second reason why people do not come closer to Krishna, do not come closer to spirituality is because they don't know. That is why if you see Prabhupada's lectures, especially early days lectures, Prabhupada has been hammering on this point that we are not this body but spirit soul. This understanding is basic. Without this understanding, Atato Brahma Jignasa, start inquiring who you are. If you do not even know who you are, you do not know your own identity, you are in such a delusional state thinking that something else is true. And the third reason why people does not surrender to Krishna is also because of lack of understanding about the Lord's creation. They think that the entire universe, Milky Way galaxy, is all that is existing. I am part of this Milky Way galaxy. Because beyond that, the informations are all mythology. In my life, I have a desire that, is some way or other, through some channel or other, we have to eliminate this word mythology associated with Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and all these things. What is mythology? In Hindi, they call it Manvar Kahani. For us, is Ramayana, kuch, is like a kahani hai kya? It's just a cooked up story. No, we know it is our life. There are, these are all wonderful traditional history for our learnings. But how do the modern world classify them? Mythology. It's not a myth. So hence, the reason with all this is coming from, because we do not know anything beyond. We are like a Dr. Frog, as Prabhupada used to always say. We are like frog in the well. Doesn't know anything beyond the well. So our limited understanding, and we draw conclusions based on them. So many people don't know where they belong. They do not know who they are and where they belong. And the last but not least, the reason why people not surrender to Krishna, the Supreme Lord, recognize Supreme Lord, is because of very strong, envious, and self-centered propensity. All our life, we are thinking, what is there for me? How can I get benefited? How can I be happy? How can I be successful? I, me, mine, I, me, mine, I, me, mine. That's the only theory that has been going on. I'm talking about in general masses. And you can see this pretty obvious. Their whole life is centered around that aspect of it. I, me, mine. So this process of acquiring knowledge, not knowing who am I, not knowing how this universe, where I belong and how this universe is constructed, and I am trying to be centered around myself, restricts everyone in recognizing the absolute truth. You cannot see the truth, even though the truth may be right in front of our eyes, with these propensity. And Krishna consciousness movement has come exactly to eliminate these propensities and to establish Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Ete chang sakala pumsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. To get to that stage, we have a lot of responsibilities. So the reason I want to mention at this point in time is this entire Leela of Mohini Murti's incarnation is to challenge and help the demigods over the demons. This entire whole Samudra Manthan pastime is also from the demoniac propensity taking over devotional demigods. The demigods and the devotional propensity. Those who are servants, those who are worshippers of God, they have been challenged. So before it happens to us, it's slowly it is already happening. The majority today are either atheists or people who are trying to self-invented ideologies of self-invented God because of the fourth reason, which is say that I am the master, I am the enjoyer, everything is around me. And because people are ignorant, these rascals, these so-called materialistic men, they take undue advantage of it. This is my first reflection. Again, these reflections are meant for us to be careful, because in our lives we should be very careful not to subscribe, support, or swing towards any one of these people. And to safeguard ourselves, we better learn to create a very healthy, happy, wiser, devotee community who subscribe to Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. That is why Kaumaram Acharet Prajnyo. From a very young age, let us start to impart spiritual knowledge. This is one aspect of it. The second reflection that I want to discuss from this verse is about what Lord Shiva is glorifying about the Supreme Lord. He says that what Krishna has mentioned in Bhagavad Gita by himself. Even though I am creating the whole thing, even though they are all done by me, I am not part of them, or neither I am affected by them. This is a very important concept that we need to learn, which will differentiate, which will help us understand the Supreme Lord, especially when it comes to preaching to so-called philosophers and atheists. The idea is that Krishna creating the entire universe is not being part of it, or as Prabhupada writes, Krishna's resources is everywhere manifested, so he ceased to exist. Both these ideologies are rejected by Vaishnavacharyas. That is why Ishopanishad says, Om Purnamataha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udashyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnam Eva Vasishyate. It says that unlike what we experience in the materialistic paradigm, because of our poor fund of knowledge, we always try to measure spiritual subject matter with materialistic vision, materialistic measurements, materialistic yardstick. But spirituality has been measured with the measurement scale, with the measurement methodology, with the yardstick and benchmark set by spiritualists. How can I measure spiritual subject matter based on my materialistic understanding? For which I want to explain a scientific engineering concept. Those of you who are engineers may be able to easily understand, but I'll try to make it simple in explaining this. Suppose, for example, I am holding my laptop in my hand, or I am holding a water jug in my hand, or any kind of an object in my hand. And in engineering, they call it an engineering drawing, where we call about projections. If I can say in a normal worldly language, suppose I hold an object in my hand and I pass the light and create a shadow of that object, which means three-dimensional object in the shadow of the light get transposed to a two-dimensional image. So all of you who are witnessing this three-dimensional object know very clearly that I am stretching my hand, holding on to a water bottle. The water bottle is green in color, and it is definitely a water bottle because I am able to see the the water proposition, and I see that the cap of them is in one color, the body is in one color, the quantity is one color, how much is transparent. All those attributes you are able to see. When we project, when we see this object on a shadow, many of the attributes are not there. So what happens is that if somebody is only seeing the shadow and does not see the actual original object and has never seen the original object, will come up with his or her own interpretation. Suppose you have not seen that object, you are only seeing the shadow of that object, you will have plenty of ways of interpreting. Oh, probably this could be this, probably this could be that, probably this could be, several parameters, because the shadow presents 60 to 70% of the information only. Several attributes of the original image, the color, the content, the weight of it, the material in which the object is made, many of those attributes are not presented in the shadow. But what happens is that when we try to learn the science of this world, science of this creation, science of God, only from shadow and not from the source where the shadow was created, then we will have incomplete, incorrect conclusion. So my second reflection is that the Supreme Lord's present in this universe, at the same time that he is not part of it, is not comprehensible because people are seeing only the shadow. They are not able, it's like one time there was a person who met another person from the cave. So the person in the cave lived inside the cave for, say, close to 20 years. He never had been outside. He had always lived in the cave only. And in the cave, his way of seeing things was with the help of a torch. So this guy, who from the outside, he told, please come to my house. And this guy picked up the torch and was trying to step out of the cave. The other person said, you don't need torch. It is daylight. Sun is there. We don't see. So what is the cave person would ask? Was saying that how will I see the sun without a torch? Because his comprehension is that only with the help of a torch I can see. That is his limited understanding because he has never got any knowledge about sun, any knowledge about the creation. Similarly, we are not able to understand how the Lord is beyond this material creation, how the Lord is beyond all that is existing, even though he has created them, is not comprehensible. Prabhupada repeatedly says, Krishna is beyond all this. Krishna is not part of this, arrangement, even though he has created them. That is why I was telling in the class yesterday in our congregation, if you sing the song, Ito Narsingha, Parato Narsingha, Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsingha. If you translate to the so-called atheists, they will not believe, they will laugh at us, saying that is impossible. That is not practical. That is not science. That is not provable. So hence it is all simply a mythology or some story. So my second reflection is to say that it is important for us to learn, to acknowledge the fact that I need an experienced living person who has seen the third dimensional object which is projected on the shadow. Even though he has not seen, he has seen that person who has seen another person who in turn has seen that object. And that's what I was telling, that the knowledge coming through the disciplic succession in a bona fide process is the only way. And Srila Prabhupada says, to support this, he writes, Falena Parichiyate. Just simply follow what they say, you will get the experience that is claimed. Susukam Kartum Avyayam is the claim of Krishna. Rajavidya Rajagukyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Dharmyam Susukam Kartum Avyayam. He says it is personally experienceable. So hence Prabhupada is encouraging all of us to come forward and experience them. And the experience is not, like a few, millennial experience. It's a very short, immediately you can experience. Instantly you can experience. Within a very short moment you can experience. There was this devotee, Mataji, who was disciple of Srila Prabhupada. I think I've shared this before, but I'll still repeat it. So she was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada and had a son who happens to be a petty thief. All his youth he has wasted by stealing things from some place or the other, getting caught in the police and stay in lockup for some time. But this Mataji was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada and very devoted to Srila Prabhupada. This happened in Juhu, Radha Ras Bihari temple. So one day, this Mataji's son got arrested for some petty robbery. And how much ever the son is bad, the mother has natural affinity towards the children. So she went to the jail, and in the jail, she handed over a Back to Garden magazine to her son, saying that at least you study this. When you come out of the jail, I will take you to my Guru Maharaj, hoping that you will take advantage of his association and become a better boy. So she left the Back to Garden magazine and went home. And that boy, when he picked up the Back to Garden magazine, he saw the picture of Srila Prabhupada with a Rolex watch in his hand. So as soon as he saw the Rolex watch, he decided that, wow, now, as soon as I step out of the jail, I will go and somehow steal this watch. Rolex watches are pretty expensive in those days. Nowadays, it is all the more. So he thought that if I take one Rolex watch, at least it will go on for a couple of months. I can be, couple of months quota would have been done. So he kept the Back to Garden magazine within himself. He didn't study. He just kept thinking about how to go and steal this watch. So he decided, after this release from jail, he went to the temple because he was a son of Prabhupada's student. So he was, not stopped. So they let him in, and so he went and said, I would like to stay in the ashram. So they let him stay in the ashram. So 1 week he stayed in the ashram. His agenda was, I will pose myself as a practicing devotee and try to take advantage of the situation and see what I can steal from here. So 1 week he stayed there, and at the end of 1 week, he came to Srila Prabhupada weeping and crying. He said, Swamiji, I made a very biggest blunder of my life, which is to steal from you and thinking that you guys are, some fake. 1 week, by me staying with your devotees, I realized how wonderful this process is. And I also realized how great you are. So I would like to confess my stupidity, and I'm ready to take any punishment that you give. My agenda of coming here was to steal your Rolex watch, but then now I surrender, I confess, and I'm ready for any punishment. Srila Prabhupada was very happy hearing this. He literally kind of removed his Rolex watch and was giving him, okay, this is what you want to take it. But now this person is a transformed person. And he is none other than Haridas Prabhu from Radha Rasa Bihari temple. If you have ever been to Radha Rasa Bihari temple, we had a department by name ISKCON Television, India. He has been managing that project, and he never left Radha Rasa Bihari temple. Since then, he has been a very loyal servant to Srila Prabhupada, very strongly attached to Srila Prabhupada. The point I want to say to conclude my second reflection here is that this process of Krishna consciousness, to understand how Krishna is omniscient, how Krishna is omnipotent, how Krishna is independent, how Krishna is Swarat, how Krishna is untouched by any of this material creation which he himself has created. We need the additional dimensional information which is available with his dear devotees, and they only can say, this is Krishna's resources, this is Krishna's energy. And if at all there is anything that belongs to us, if at all there is anything that we can say that belongs to us, Prabhupada mentions in our lecture, that is called our doggish mentality. So Srila Prabhupada says, if there is anything in this world that belongs to us, that is our doggish mentality. It is we who thinks. What is doggish mentality? Sometimes this is nice, sometimes that is nice, sometimes this is important, sometimes that is important. We keep hopping between things and desiring for some materialistic results, and that doggish mentality is what we have it as ours. Otherwise, everything belongs to Krishna. So this is the second reflection. The third and the last reflection is, as a part of our understanding, as a part of our reflection, as a part of the glorification of Lord Shiva, glorifying about Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam, Adyam, Purana Purusham. So this particular verse is, spoken by Lord Shiva. In Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma is glorifying. There are so many personalities that are glorifying Krishna. In hearing about, after hearing all these glorifications, after hearing all the wonderful narrations about the Supreme Lord, we have to come to one conclusion, which is that the conclusion is that somehow or other in this very life, I need to learn to surrender to the Supreme Lord. I need to learn to appreciate the fact that Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So the understanding of how Krishna is not part of this universe, understanding of how Krishna is the supreme controller, understanding of how in this material world people are completely in ignorance. So one agenda that is left for all of us, which is my third reflection, is to somehow or other we need to learn to establish the science of Krishna consciousness as our primary duty. So Krishna consciousness is not just a choice. Krishna consciousness is our life. Krishna consciousness is our mission. So Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Prabhupada, Narada, and so many personalities, they are constantly glorifying Krishna, and every possible opportune moment they are celebrating about the Supreme Lord. So in our personal lives, let's learn to celebrate the Supreme Lord by recognizing that everything that belongs to us, everything that comes to us, everything that is surrounded, everything that comes our way, it is all Krishna's. So there are only two truths, Krishna and Krishna's. Rest everything else is Maya. And Maya means that which is not. So that is why I would say the third reflection is the understanding of Krishna and Krishna's need to be presented. One time, Prabhupada is giving in a class. He says, when you know everything belongs to Krishna, you have nothing to renounce because everything belongs to Krishna. And if everything belongs to Krishna, you have nothing to claim as yours. And he's giving an example that when a person is going through, when a person is going past a Bank of America, and he says, I renounce Bank of America, people will call him mad. People will call him pagal. Because how can an individual call Bank of America belongs to me? Neither he can renounce, nor it says is mine. So, if in this material world, if we can neither renounce anything of this material world, nor we can claim anything belongs to us, then what are we supposed to do? Then we are supposed to simply utilize the resources, acknowledging that these resources that have come my way as Krishna's, and utilize them for his pleasure. It is like I'm living in a rental apartment or rental house. I may assume them as my house for some time, but technically it is not my house. I am on a rental agreement. As soon as I am being asked to vacate, I have to vacate the house. Similarly, everything in this world is temporary. Dukkalayam asashvatam. So we need to be prepared to learn. I will neither renounce nor claim anything of this world. Rather, I will dovetail every single resource that comes my way in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, this dovetailing propensity by glorifying Him, by educating masses, by winning more and more souls to the lotus with the Supreme Lord is our primary duty. So, to summarize, we had discussed three sets of reflection from this particular verse. Reflection number one, we discussed about why people don't come to Krishna, and we had identified four reasons. And those reasons are either because of the way they gain knowledge, or it's because of not knowing about their own identity, it's because of not knowing where they belong, and last but not least, it's because of personal enviousness and having the propensity of I, me, mine. And the second reflection we discussed is about how in our uh, in our uh, in our life we need to learn to um, uh, learn to see how how Krishna is everywhere, and we generally don't get to see them. How Krishna is part of this universe at the same time is unaffected. We don't get to see them because of the missing information, so the missing dimension. And this additional dimension is provided by a self-realized soul. Additional information is provided by Shastras. Sruti, Smriti, Puranadim, Pancharatrim Vidimbina, Aikantikim, Harir Bhakti, Utpadaya Kalpati. So we don't take shelter of a bona fide source to understand about the real identity of the Supreme Lord and the real position of the Jiva and the Supreme Lord and its connectivity. And last but not least, we discussed that how our duty is to glorify Krishna, because I can neither renounce nor I can claim anything as mine. So all the resources that I have belongs to him. I should learn to dovetail it for his pleasure. So otherwise we will be in bondage. Thank you all so much. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ita Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. If there are any questions, comments, or reflections, I'll be happy to respond. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for explaining this verse so wonderfully with bullet points, examples, anecdotes, and reflections, Prabhu. Listening to your class, I felt like you talked about Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan today. That's and I took some notes down. There are 5 people you said who cannot understand Krishna: corrupt politicians, scientists who believe only on scientific facts, fools and envious, and those who want to be controllers. And what they have in common is the enjoying propensity and the exploiting propensity. And you said people don't surrender because they don't have knowledge of process. They don't have knowledge of who they are. They don't know who the Lord is, and they are envious towards the Lord. And the reflection was why people don't come to Krishna. That's number one. Second was we need someone who has seen the object of worship, like a guru or Prabhupada in our mission. And most final and most important point you said was understanding that whatever we have, we see is Krishna. Uh, Krishna is the truth, and everything that we see is Krishna's. So, Prabhu, I don't have any question, but I just wanted to. I'm gonna go back and listen to the class again. And yes, Prabhu, I don't have any question. If anyone does, please.
Mataji, somebody's raised a hand. Padmani Radha Mataji.
Yes, I do have a question.
Yes, please, Mataji, go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for the wonderful class and so many, as you know, Premanandini Mataji was saying, for giving us so many realizations and reminders. I think I just had a question, clarification. I'm trying to understand when you said, Prabhuji, people don't take up to spirituality. So I'm trying to understand what is the role of karma and what is the role of sukruti in both of that, because I know when you were talking about you touched the other aspects, but I'm just trying to understand because we do see that in our day-to-day lives also. Some people just don't take it up to spirituality or Krishna consciousness, and it could be their karma, or some people just get a moment's association of a devotee and they get the mercy and they just take it up. So can you just speak on that a little bit?
Okay, I'll give you, because you are in the Bhagavatam class, I'll give you a direct Gaudiya Vaishnava explanation of this. There are many bridge preaching answers that I can give, but I'll directly get into the subject matter. According to Nectar of Devotion, karma has got 4 different effects: Prarabdha, Apararabdha, Kutam, and Bijam. Prarabdha means that action that I have already, karmic action I have done, for which a reaction has been awarded. So, and Apararabdha is, so anyway, that's the main nodi. Anyway, the point is, these karmic reactions are changeable, curable, cleansable. I have been put into a particular condition because of my past, but I continue to stay in my condition is not only because of my past, it is also because of my present. I was born poor, maybe because of my karma, but I stay poor is because of my stupidity. I was born in a bad situation, maybe because of my karma, but I stay in a bad situation is my stupidity. It is very clear from the history that even the demons know what is correct, what is wrong, just that they do not want to accept it. Is it not that Kamsa not knew about Vasudeva's gentleness? Is it not that demons, just that their superiority complex covers their intelligence? It's like those who are smoking cigarette. Do they not know that it has got its bad effect? They think that nothing will affect them, or they will be able to overcome them, or it's okay. At least let me enjoy as much as I enjoy. So some sort of a alternative thinking makes them do their mistake. So hence karma theory. Why karma theory? In one particular person's life, either karma or his desire or time as a factor, all of them plays a role in different time, meaning, okay, instead of Kali Yuga, if all of us had born in Satya Yuga or in some other planets, okay, we can connect back everything to karma. But idea is that depends upon the time, depends upon our desire, personal desire. So hence our suffering, you cannot always hide behind your karma, your suffering, your situation, your wherever you are. It's expected of us as human that we are supposed to ask questions and do things scientifically, not just blindly like animals. So if anybody who is questioning has to come to spirituality. Dhruva Maharaj was not a devotee, but he became a devotee. Dhruva Maharaj was a curious, enthusiastic, furious Kshatriya, but he became a Paramahamsa. He became a one of the great examples of Bhagavatas, just because of his questioning, sincere questioning nature. Hippies, they were not born with any of the wonderful you know um, acumen of being a saint, but they had a sincere questions. They were searching for, I mean, at least that's by and large, at least some of them were searching for the real happiness. Whenever and wherever you have that hunch, that search, that desire to know what's the reality, the only answer is you have to meet Krishna or Krishna's devotees. So to that extent, we not doing that is our foolishness, and collective foolishness is we are not helping people do that. Am I making sense, Mataji?
Yes, yes. Thank you, Prabhu. So just a follow up on that. So I guess I'm trying to understand the desire is the most important, right? If there is desire,
Yes,
you would get
yes.
mercy as well.
Desires and questioning.
Right. But mercy would follow if there is a desire. But if there is no desire, there wouldn't be any mercy as well. Correct?
Yes, but it's unlikely that we do not have a desire. Just that
Okay.
we do desire wrong things, because when mind is there, when we are as a human, definitely there are thinking, willing, feeling happens. Just that how you are able to thinking, willing, feeling in a very intelligent way. I mean, just that unscrupulously I just go come pick up whatever I may want to pick up. That's animalistic mentality. If I have to have a sense of discrimination, if I have to have some sense of reasoning, then naturally I will come to Krishna consciousness. I may come later. I mean, if I come in contact with a devotee, my process is faster. If I do not come in contact with a devotee, if I have a reasoning, Krishna will arrange a devotee. Prabhupada writes in fourth canto, Dhruva Maharaj's episode 4.9.25, if I am right. Prabhupada, I think 4.9.3 or 4.9.25, some that chapter. So Prabhupada says that when Dhruva Maharaj was going to see Krishna, Narada Muni was somewhere else in some other planet. But because of knowing the seriousness of Dhruva Maharaj's condition, it is the Lord who facilitated the meeting between him and Narada Muni. So from that perspective, our desires and our reasoning. So that is why please reason whatever you are doing. Just don't accept anything blindly. Parikshit Maharaj was appreciated, Arjuna were appreciated for their being a very intelligent student. There is a concept, that is explained by Srila Prabhupada called every practicing devotee should learn to become independently thoughtful person. What is independently thoughtfulness here refers to? It refers to I am not a blind follower. I will follow them according to a scientific way of understanding the science. Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for your wonderful class as always. I really look forward to them, and the reflections are very helpful when you sum them up so concisely. Prabhuji, my question is that actually it's not a question. I'm trying to see if you will endorse this viewpoint. Is that gross things are not as are not high up there as non-gross, right? Like spiritual, because we at least in my case I would say that I try to now reflect on things and try to find a reason why they're happening and try to connect the dots now after having come on this path. And obviously there is no I do believe in God 100%. However, I'm not able to endorse that my reasoning is correct because it's my guess. Like if I say karma philosophy, oh, this happened because see this I'm just trying to uh, so how would you I mean it's just one's deduction on certain things that are happening in one's life or when you see what's happening around. So how would you Prabhuji help me in that case? Thank you, Prabhu.
One straightforward, point here is that yes, our subtle thinking is very important. Our subtle understanding is very important. Our subtle surrender is very important than the gross activity. But at some point in time in our life, our subtlety and our intentions should be reflected in actions. You can begin by saying that I may not be able to change my action because of my various conditioning and circumstances, but my thinking has changed. I'm evolving, I'm realizing, I'm reflecting, I am acknowledging, and that's the beginning, and that's a very good beginning. But down the line, we need to make plans to make sure that what I am, desiring and what I am contemplating and reflecting should be reflected in my actions. The delay, why it has happened so far, you may have to analyze why did I not realize it till this point in time. Maybe my mom said I didn't listen. Maybe my mom never said that. Maybe I went to the wrong place. 100,000 reasons. But now you have got a company, you're able to realize, you're able to appreciate, you're able regularly hearing the class with all making sense. And probably when you reflect, it is also, you're able to comprehend. Now we have to start making a project to say how do I apply. It's a very bold step, it's a very tough step, but it has to be taken so that you at least save some other soul to wait for maybe 25, 30, 40 years until they get to know the truth. And how that is possible? By choosing a right company. Each and every one of us should have at least one good spiritual friend with whom I can share my application, how I am applying, and I should have one senior from whom I learn. If we have this arrangement, then half of our problem is solved. A person, that friend, should not be a S boss person. Whatever you say is correct. That person should be able to rationally help us, able to say, you are wrong here. You're supposed to get corrected here. So that's why it's called the well wisher. And ISKCON arranges the community of devotees amongst us. We have wonderful such people who are ready to support us. Many people have supported me. That's why I'm talking to you all. I am sure each and every one of us will be able to support 10 or 20 other people. So that way we create a very positive ecosystem. So for us to move from intention to action, we need a live company, good company, active company, where you can openly contemplate. In fact, there's a theory in psychology where if the more you hide or the more you keep it within yourself, things multiply. The more you state, it gets divided, especially with respect to problem. If I do not state my problem, in fact, to state and acknowledge the problem is in itself a solution to a problem. But you should know whom to state and how to express. That's another science. If you state to a wrong person, is a problem. But the point is that it is imperative that after being a student of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, we should identify good friends with whom I start to boldly apply. One step at a time is okay, but somewhere you should start application, and that way we will be able to transform our lives. Make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji, definitely. I was actually also talking about, connecting the dots from the karmic karma account,
Right.
like, so that is most, it's always a guesswork. We don't know how it works and
It
what
is like
karma.
this, Mataji. It is like this. Karma is very, very subservient in comparison to mercy. When you have, it is like this. How much I should worry about traffic signal when I am driving in president's car? How much I should worry about, following governance when I am a member of the legislative council or government body where I am the authority or I am part of I have other responsibilities. I have a lot of privileges. So if you have Krishna, so that's why I always say, instead of going and telling Krishna repeatedly, hey Krishna, I have so many problems. You go and tell all your problems, hey problems, I have Krishna. The perspective is different, and when you do so, you are now at least acknowledging that Krishna is my friend. And Krishna is telling, the Prabhupada writes in the purport, 13th chapter, that shloka, Upadrishta Anumanta cha Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara. In that purport, Srila Prabhupada writes very clearly. What is he writing? He is saying that Krishna is ready to be our friend. That is why he is sitting in our heart as Paramatma, witnessing all our activities, acknowledging, seeing everything that we are doing, and he is ready to help us. Why don't we take the help? And in elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada writes that representative of Paramatma is our spiritual master. So karma, let us not, karma is very a very vital aspect, but it is not that vital in front of your devotion, because when you do devotion, you get cleared of all the past karmic effect pretty soon. One shot it gets cleansed. And then you are a clean person, then you can start from scratch. That way it is. Make sense?
Very much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare
Hare
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. It was really wonderful class as always, Prabhuji. And spiritually loaded, I can say, it was a very good boost for us today morning. Yeah, I have only one small doubt. Like
Sure.
it is said that uh, whatever we think in the mind is not acknowledged by Lord, or it is not having any negative effects. So at the same time, the feelings what anyone has, whether it is a human being or animal, so those feelings are acknowledged by Krishna. Is that correct, Prabhuji?
Okay. I'll tell you what version of I know. It is said in Kali Yuga, the sins, mistakes that are the mental level, that does not have an effect. In previous ages, even if I think of stealing from someone, or killing someone, I will have implications. In Kali Yuga, because of the degraded nature of the society, we are given one leeway, saying that if you have dirty thoughts, you are not going to be punished. You are not going to accrue sin. Having said that, the dirty thoughts, if they are not cleansed, they'll eventually accrue to become, a demon within us, which will make us commit wrong action. With respect to feelings of animals and others, so basically, there are two theories. One is operating based on instinct. Second is operating based on intellect. So anyone who operates on instinct, for example, a male dog sees a female dog, a male monkey sees a female monkey, one street dog sees another street dog. So there is no discrimination, whether it is my wife or sister or sister-in-law, mother-in-law. They just enjoy means enjoy. That's all. Or have sexual relationship and have fights, have whatever that is. So they are operating purely on instinct. They do not have discrimination. They do not have ability to control their feelings, regulate their feelings, have deliberation thoughts. So that is why they are all animals. And if human being also operate on such feelings based on instinct only, then the Mahabharata very clearly says that ahara nidra bhayamaitunam cha samanyametat pashuvirnaranam dharmo hi tesham adhiko visheshah dharmena hina pasubir samana. So you are equivalent to animals. The differentiating factor is intellect, intelligence. And what is the sign of intelligence? Asking questions. So summarizing the point is, yes, number one, anything that is thought in the mind level, you have no implications. But if it is not cleared it off, eventually it will come in action. So that way you'll have implication. Number two, with respect to feelings, I want to say instinct and intellect. If it is instinct based, then we are like animals. Human beings means we have to use intelligence, and intelligence means asking questions, asking relevant questions to the right person for the right cause. That's what is right intelligence means. Makes sense, bro?
Yes, Prabhuji. But still, someone is praying God, like we say Hare Krishna Mahamantra also, or maybe some other God's name, but at the same time, that soul is not able to speak, from the words or mouth. So he's thinking like, God will help me. So in the mind, so that's a positive thinking. But at the same time, will that be considered like
Definitely it's considered. It's
hard? Yeah,
definitely
okay.
it's definitely considered.
I
So
was just trying to correlate with that another.
no, so that correlation wise, anything in spirituality, whether it is in thinking form, willing form, any other form, it is going to be done because that is the true nature of the spirit soul. So it's immediately rewarded. Anything with respect to conditional activities, then there are some classification. Otherwise, the soul who can't speak, they meditate. Prayers are done within our mind, so it's rewarded. You are rewarded.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. As always, your class is so thought-provoking and so wonderful with so many points, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question is regarding, how the Lord has obscured himself in this world, like the example that you wonderfully gave about the projection on a two-dimensional surface. So we are missing a lot of attributes of the Lord. And from the verse also, the Lord is not present in the material world. So, he first of all, he takes the pains to, obscure himself so that he cannot be easily understood. And then through his devotees or his own incarnation, he tries to, get people in the right path. So why does he do these two things, to obscure and also then try to get people on the right track?
Very nice question. So basically, it is. I'll first I'll explain the context of why he does this. It is like a government creating a jail and government creating a secretariat. Okay, Both are called government office. A jail is also government property. A jail is also, belong to government, and also the the secretariat or the parliament or whatever you may call, or even the government offices for that matter. So when the government is creating both the places, they are both meant for two different sets of people. So by design, the Lord is not obstructing himself. By design, the Lord is making himself available. I have given this example at least few times in this class, but for the sake of giving explanation, I repeat this. A maths teacher is trying to call the students for a special class on a Saturday because exams are coming close by. The classroom has got 60 children, of which all of them have been welcomed for the special class. On a Saturday, when the special class started, out of the 60, only 30 came. And teacher taught to those 30. At the end of the class, teacher said, if you still have any doubts, you can reach out to me at my house. I'll be able to give you some additional personal time. And from that 30, 6 people went to the teacher's house to learn something more. The following Monday, when the teacher come to the class, it's obvious that the teacher will address the entire class, but will have more connect with those 6 students than the remaining of them because of their readiness, eagerness, acceptance of the offer. So the Lord is not obstructing us. It is not the Lord's design. But because the Lord knew somebody will not acknowledge me, I want to classify them in a different bucket. I cannot take everybody to the parliament. Some are parliament category, some are general praja category, some are criminal category, some are, my family. So he has classifications based on whether I came to the class only or did not even come to the class, whether I came to the special class, whether I went to the teacher's house, and whichever rang I belong, that much importance is given. It looks like the Lord is obstructing and trying to create some sort of a vicious arrangement. Actually, the Lord is very simple. He wants you and me because He has got everything else. What He does not have is you and me because we are here. So He is trying His ways and means to get us back. Whoever is cooperating with His ways and means, they're making it forward, and whoever is not, we are beating around the bush here. But still, He's keeping on trying because He's our Father, because He's our Mother. He wants to somehow extend His help. That is sitting in our heart and waiting for our day when we will become intelligent enough to say that Krishna, now I am yours. Please, make me dance the way you want me to dance. So it is not the Lord who is obstructing. It is we who are closing our eyes. It is we who are trying to deny the existence of God, because of which life is complicated. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna consciousness is very simple for simple-minded, but is extremely complicated for the crooked. Prahlad Maharaj did not have any difficulty in understanding Narayana, while Hiranyakashipu had so many difficulty in even understanding the basic concept that he cannot be the boss. So that's the comparison between devotees and demoniac people in this material world. Makes sense, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you very much. So, he's equipoised to everyone. It is just, our own consciousness that is, causing us to be away from him, but he's giving himself to everyone equally. And because of the different, consciousness, there is classification
Yes.
and how to deal with each of these.
Yes. It's us who are the culprit. Any other questions, comments? Okay, so thank you all so much for
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, my Dhanat Pranam to you.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. It seems that you came after a long time on the call and such nice explanation and preparation and telling us about Srila Prabhupada. about the Rolex watch. I was thinking what he's going to say. He just gave it. He just gave it away only, And now that Prabhuji is like some a spiritual master maybe, or like a devotee he became.
No, he left the planet 1 year before, but he was a very sincere servant in Radha Rasbihar temple. Haridas Prabhu, very, very nice devotee.
Yeah. So I heard that whoever meets Srila Prabhupada, that person gets completely purified and loses all the propensities of being a thief or whatever, he or she might be. So much of potency Prabhupada has, like, very, very amazing. It's like, meeting Krishna. Meeting Prabhupada is like meeting Krishna. I mean, I can't compare. I mean, maybe Prabhupada would not like to hear that, because Prabhupada said many lectures that somebody said, Prabhupada, are you God? He says, no, I'm not God. He didn't want to be God. So very humble. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. I don't have a question, but it was very nice, the class and the question answers.
Hare Krishna. All the Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu. This is Vinod Maheshwari. I came after missing many, many classes. And after listening your lecture, I realized that how much I missed it, So I'll try to continue, but thank you very much for your class.
Hare Krishna. All the best, Vinod Maheshwari ji. I'll pray that you're able to participate in the class regularly and take advantage. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Okay, probably you can end the session if there's no other discussion.
Preman,
Yes. Yes, Mataji, I am here. Yeah, thank you so much, Prabhu, for the wonderful class and all the question and answer session. Please accept our humble obeisances. Let's end the call by honoring all the Vaishnavas in the parampara. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
His Grace Ram Giridhari Prabhu ji ki
Ki
jai.
jai.
All assembled devotees ki jai.
Jai.
Dandavat pranam everyone.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Prabhuji.
Thanks so much,
Krishna
class.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Hari
much.
Bol.
Hare
Hari
Krishna.
Bol.
Such a wonderful class, Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Bol.
Krishna.